Hey everybody, welcome to this $1,400 stimulus check update, third stimulus package update, the American Rescue Plan. Right now, Congress, most of them are on recess, they're on vacation. So while they're hard not at work, there are a few subcommittees meeting in Washington today, but for the most part, the House of Representatives are not in session, not voting on anything, not getting much of anything done. However, the few that are have actually announced some big items for the stimulus package in terms of voting. We now have a voting schedule set in place by Steny Hoyer for the House of Representatives. I'll let you know what that is. Also, a note on the $15 per hour minimum wage that has been written into the stimulus bill and what Joe Manchin is actually doing about it right now. He said he was against it being included in the stimulus package, but some recent news just came out about that today that could change his mind. Also, just announced today some new information on the mortgage forbearance program, so I'll go over that as well as some information on the $200 per month increase in SSI that has been promised. Hey everyone, my name's Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. This is a new YouTube channel. Right now I'm doing this series, the state of the stimulus checks, because it's of great interest to myself. So if you want to follow along, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. And don't forget to tap that bell notification icon. That way you'll be notified when I release new videos. And of course I do that when I get some new information. So if you would like to support this YouTube channel, best thing you can do is by smashing that thumbs up button and also participating in the comments section below. There's a great community. I love reading all the comments and opinions that you guys leave in these videos. So continue to do that. It's much appreciated. All right, well, let's get into it. All right, so before I get started, I wanted to take a quick second just to offer my thoughts on what's going on in Texas. This crazy cold weather that has dipped so far south in the United States that it is causing basically widespread power outages, all kinds of travel problems throughout Texas, down as far south as Austin and even further. Experiencing sub-zero temperatures, sub-zero Fahrenheit temperatures, and icing. There's basically power outages all over the place. And so there's reports all over the place of people, unfortunately, being found dead or nearly frozen to death and having all kinds of problems staying warm. I just read another report today of a mother and child that passed away because they tried to warm themselves up in the car in their own garage and died of carbon monoxide poisoning. It's an unfortunate situation everywhere, so my thoughts and prayers to everybody in Texas. Hopefully it doesn't last too long, and hopefully this will trigger somebody in the government to keep a better emergency preparedness plan in place for things like this. Anyway, I hope you guys warm up soon. So for the breaking news, the voting schedule has been announced, and where they're going to take the American Rescue Plan that is being drafted currently by the Ways and Means Committee, and Steny Hoyer, who is actually the majority leader of the House of Representatives, sent out a memo today, actually about an hour ago, letting everybody know the new voting schedule. So it is set for next week. All of the votes that they had scheduled for Monday have been moved to Tuesday. So Tuesday would actually be the earliest that they would have any voting procedures done. Now, depending on the finalization of details in the bill, the vote could either happen anywhere from the 23rd to the 26th, as well as over the weekend. There was actually an asterisk in the note that said Congress should be prepared that there could be a vote over the weekend as well. Basically, the point of that is to get this $1.9 trillion spending plan passed by the weekend or at the latest during the weekend. The goal of that being to get it over to the Senate as quickly as possible. And what that would do is basically get this bill to the Senate the first week of March. And if everything goes smoothly, it would be signed, it would be approved and put on Joe Biden's desk for signature, possibly at the end of that first week of March. That's if everything goes well and none of the Democrats put up a fight. But that might not happen. As we know right now, there is a plan in this stimulus bill for an increase of minimum wage to go to $15 per hour over the course of the next 5 years. The majority of the Senate a couple of weeks ago had actually voted against this being in the stimulus bill because they said now is not the right time. We can put that in another bill, we can do it separately, but during a pandemic, small businesses are already hurting enough, it's just not the right time. However, the House of Representatives put it in anyway. So there are currently two people in the Senate, Democrats Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who said they will not be voting for it if it includes the stimulus package, if it includes the $15 per hour minimum wage. Well, some new information this morning just came out. Apparently there was a group of protesters that had been organizing and were going to gather out in front of Joe Manchin's office in West Virginia in order to protest him not voting or not supporting the $15 per hour minimum wage increase. Now, there was actually a big snowstorm, ice storm that came through and basically canceled that event. However, this morning, his office said Joe Manchin is actually going to meet with those protesters to hear them out and listen to their story. So that's going to be really interesting. That is not something we see an awful lot in Washington. especially from somebody as high-ranking as a senator. So supposedly that was going to happen over the next couple of days. So definitely stay tuned for whatever information comes out of that meeting. I'm really interested to see what happens, as Joe Manchin is typically considered the more conservative Democrat or a centrist Democrat. But then you also have Kyrsten Sinema, who has also said she's not going to vote for any package that includes $15 an hour minimum wage increases in it. She said she's not going to vote for it if it includes anything that doesn't explicitly revolve around the COVID pandemic. So even if it gets past Joe Manchin, we have another roadblock in Kyrsten Sinema. So that's going to be one thing that could hold this up. If both of them hold it up and Democrats really don't see any way of getting this passed, but to take it out, what they'll do is they'll take that language out. They'll have the Senate do a vote. If the Senate passes it, they'll send it back to the House, where the House would pass the same version of that bill, and it would get sent to Joe Biden's desk for signature from there. So that is our time frame. We are looking at next week an official vote from the House of Representatives, and the week after for an official vote in the Senate. So things are starting to pick up, even though Congress is on vacation. And not only those issues, but today we also had news come out from the White House, which they actually posted on their website information on the mortgage forbearance program and the eviction moratorium. The Housing and Economic Subcommittees got together and basically announced their joint support for extending the eviction ban, as well as extensions to the mortgage forbearance program. Basically what this will be is, for the mortgage forbearance program, is they're allowing from now until the end of June for you to actually enroll and apply for a mortgage forbearance program with your mortgage company. If you're already in forbearance or you've already taken part of it, you can actually go and in 3-month increments apply to be a part of it again for a maximum of 6 months. Same thing with the eviction moratorium. They want to push that till the end of June as well, regardless of anything is actually accepted through this stimulus plan. So that's definitely something that we're going to be keeping track of, because the last 2 stimulus packages did include the wording around the mortgage forbearance and the eviction moratoriums. However, right now, as it stands, it's not included in this bill. They're actually doing this separately. And finally, some information on the SSI program. So many people, I've seen not just on my videos, but on some other videos as well, so many people asking about that $200 per month increase for Social Security recipients to get in 2021. And after all the research that I've been doing, I haven't found anything that is in the works. Basically, last year there was a bunch of congressmen, including Joe Biden, that had promised an increase in Social Security benefits. Meanwhile, they did do a 1.3% raise. It's not the $200 per month that Social Security recipients were looking for. As it stands right now, there is nothing in the works other than maybe a congressman here or there saying we need it, we should do it, we should talk about it, etc. But there's nothing actually being voted on or implemented at this point. If that changes, I will absolutely let you guys know and put an update together in a video for you. But as it stands right now, unfortunately, there's just really nothing to count on. That's it for today's video, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. And as always, smash that thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you guys on the next video.